Very close to Ravi, and so goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You also want to say goodbye?
Bye. Okay, my name is Kim Barkmann, and I'm called the Wise Woman. Wise women have a very old tradition in Germany. It's a tradition of about more than 2,000 years. And when I was young, I have been told this story about that wise woman. About, let's say, 1,800 years ago, ancient times, the Germans were relatively primitive people. And the Romans were people with a high culture. And the Romans always wanted to occupy Germany. And the king, Tiberius, sent his own stepson, Drusus, into the country to occupy the country. And Drusus was a very, very good warrior. He marched in the country. Many German warriors fought against him, and they lost, and he marched on, and again they fought and lost, and he marched on. And for a while it seemed that nothing can stop this man. And he came to the river Elbe, near the city of Magdeburg, which didn't exist in those days. I guess that probably the city got its name from this story. This man, Drusus, was alone in the forest hunting, when all of a sudden a huge, big woman stepped in front of him. Right from a tree, all of a sudden she stepped in front of him, and she talked to him with a deep and strong voice, and she said, "Till here and no farther you will come. Your days are counted." And that frightened him so much that he ordered to march back. And of course he had to tell his king why he was coming back. And he wrote a letter to him, and in this letter he wrote that he met a German goddess. But I think this was not a German goddess. This was a German wise woman. And this wise woman must have been very, very bold, because he was a warrior. Probably he has killed women before. She wouldn't have been the first one. And she took that risk. And she stood there behind the tree, and she breathed, thinking, calming down, taking all her force and power together to come right in the very perfect moment to stand in front of him, to talk to him with a very perfect intonation and say the right things. And this woman, she finished the war with 2 spoken sentences.
How do you how you get into when you discover that you are going to be a wise woman or work as a wise woman, or you can explain a little more, because I'm not aware of it. Maybe people know these terms here in Germany.
Yeah, this is such an old tradition, it's almost forgotten. I didn't know that this tradition exists long time ago. I came to it by chance. I didn't plan to go there. But when I finally reached that point and I looked back, I saw that all my life long I had planned to do that. But I didn't know. But I can remember when I was very little and people told me fairy tales. In those fairy tales, very often there were those wise women, and they were all liars. They came up to the people pretending they were just an old lady needing help, and making a test, of course. Would they help or would they not? And I was so little, maybe 6 years old, and I sat there and I thought, when I once become a wise woman, I will not lie, I will say the truth. And when I looked at my life later, I discovered, wow, I have already thought about that when I was 6 years old. But this plan was unfolding in me without me knowing it. And finally, one day I find a person who taught me, a very good teacher who knew a lot of things. And from that on, I taught myself quite a lot of things. And I can see now, I don't know the word in English, berufen, auserwählt, berufen, chosen. Yeah, I'm chosen.
The way you had to go.
I have been chosen. I did not choose it myself. But since I'm so successful in it, and I do this for 16 years now, and in these 16 years, many thousand people came to me, and I could help them. And so now I think I was chosen, but not by myself.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's the end of the ego when you say that it's not my choice.
Yeah, genau. It's not my choice at all. But now that I do it, I love it. Couldn't have been a better thing to do.
Because in our normal society, it is so difficult to say that I am wise.
Yeah, I say it. As I promised when I was 6 years old. And people ask a lot of questions about that, of course. But I can see in the way people respect me, that in their hearts they can feel something. Even those who say this is all foolish stuff. But even they respect me when they treat me. So deep inside they feel there is something real in it.
So what was your process to declare yourself a wise woman?
That was not easy.
Of course.
At first I was very shy, and I didn't say it aloud. The first thing I said, I made such a little announcement, a very small one, and many people came. Amazingly, lots of people came. After 3 months I couldn't talk. I was so out of voice because I had talked and talked to so many people, and this encouraged me a lot. So step by step I dared to say a little bit more, and 1 year later I said a little bit more than that, and then finally I was so encouraged by all these people, and that I could see that I can really help. And so finally I decided to say the full truth. And then people say to me, but isn't that, was ist überheblich, arrogant?
Arrogant.
Isn't that arrogant to say that? And then I used to say, it would be arrogant if it wasn't true.
Yeah. So when you started journey on this, declaring yourself a wise woman, what kind of difficulties inside you felt?
Inside me?
Yup.
Oh yeah, I'm a woman too. And the biggest woman problem we have in Germany is self-doubt. This is our biggest women problem, and of course I had that too. When people come to me and I help them, okay, then I feel good. But sometimes they come and I cannot help. And then I have these doubts. Maybe it's all nonsense. Maybe I'm not wise. Maybe this is all stupid. Or if people came to me and it happened that I was angry with them. When I am angry, something is wrong with me and not with them. They are the clients. They behave like clients behave. But when I am angry, and so I had to, after each such session, I sat down and I went inside me and I found out what is wrong with me now. Why am I angry? I shouldn't. Where did they get me? And I learned so much from that. So much about my ego. So unbelievable much. Ego is a real big thing. And it exists from many Bausteine, layers, and you can always find another one, and then you take it and you take it out, and you take that and you take it out. And as long as people come to me and make me angry, there's still an ego in me. And so I learned a lot. I learned such a lot from all these people. And then there were those people who they try to betray you. Wow, I learned such a lot from those people. They come with lies, and they lie to you, and they when it's all done, they don't want to pay for it. I learned a lot about my ego from all those people. And so by the years and all these people and learning so much from them, it gave me a very good self-confidence. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because by now, slowly, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, what other processes? Yeah, when you are a wise woman or a shaman
Yeah, I will come to that question.
and you grow,
Hmm.
then there will come the point for each one. There will come the point where people decide either they love you or they hate you. Was heißt, du bist keinem mehr egal?
Do people care about you?
Yeah, they care about you and they have no chance to not care about you. Even if they say so. No, I don't care at all. But the voice, the sound of the voice lets you see that this is not true. And some people love you and some people hate you. And you have to live with that. That there are people who hate you. And maybe you don't want to be hated by them. Maybe you even love them. But they decide that they hate you. And they turn away from you and they go. And this very often made me sad. And it's always hard to live with that and to realize this person decided against me. I don't know that I did anything wrong, but this person decided against me. This is a process that every wise woman has to go through. Even Jesus Christ, the master of love, he was not able to be only loved by the people. They crucified him. So if he didn't manage to do that, I can expect that for myself too.
Now, before I would like to know your connection, how you connect with the wise woman thing and the shaman. Because for me, in my understanding, in the earlier, before I meet you, I don't know anything about wise woman, but the shaman is something who work with some other dimensions. So is there any connectivity, or how you see the connection between that?
There are shamans all over the world. You see them among Native Americans or in India or in Korea, in China, in Tibet, and
Russia.
in Russia, yeah,
Everywhere, yeah.
Hawaii. And there is shamanism in German too. And this was the ancient wise women. But in those older times, they were only women. 2,000 years ago, the Germans, every woman has something spiritual, secretly, something that men doesn't have. That is what they believed in those times. In the next country, they had the Druids, Druiden. Yeah, we didn't have them. This is not German. This is Celtic. We are not Celtics. And those women, I think they were the German form of shamanism. And for a long time, they were very powerful women, very powerful women. They were the counselors of kings and leaders. And they were strong, like this woman I told you about. That they were not this kind of, oh, love, everything is wonderful, I. They were really strong women, and this is what I love about that. And about 1,005 years later, 50 years later, 500 years later, Middle Ages, the later Middle Ages, they start to burn the witches. And this changed a lot. Those women were very powerful to that point. And then it was suddenly very, very dangerous to be a wise woman or a witch, which is not the same. And then they had to hide, and there were women, one here in that village, one there. Secretly, small, they were working. And in those days, a lot of different lines, traditional lines, were created because they couldn't meet each other and talk to each other. It was too dangerous. And in those times, they got almost forgotten, but they are not really forgotten. There are many of them. They are sitting all in the villages, older ladies, and they work with people. And I try to put all this wisdom together, bring it together again, to teach it to the people now, because now we don't need to hide anymore. And they do work with other dimensions. They do most of the stuff that shamans do. It has a little different face, of course, but this is so all over the world. Like the Russian shamans, they always have to drink so much alcohol. Thanks God we do not have to do that in our work. This is the phase it has in Russia.
But there are really much parallelitäten. For example, I saw some weeks ago a movie about shamans in other countries, and he did something showing his work, what we do as well, a bit differently, but it was the same way to heal. And this is for me really interesting, that there is a connection, because this knowledge is so old that the basic is everywhere the same.
The truth is everywhere the
Yes.
same. The truth, the human truth, is the truth in every country. And if you
see the truth.
yeah, the wise women see the truth, and this is what wise people in India do too. They see the truth, and even they say that. I read that, and this is the same that we also say. People look into the world and they see almost nothing. There are so many veils before their eyes. The ways they think, the way they believe, what they want to see instead of what there really is. And so they look into the world and they see almost nothing. And the wise woman or the shaman has thrown all those veils away. And so you can see the world. And what you see then is the same in India, in Russia, in Hawaii, or in Germany. And all the shamans all over the world are people helper. We help the people. As if the whole world is a game, everybody is playing the game, and we know the roles a little bit better.
Yeah, we are sitting on the top of the tree, so you can see that bullock cart is coming.
Yeah, you see it from looking down.
So, how you, when you decided to become a wise woman, what was the process? Or is somebody like Hendrik, or they started, what is the process of starting into this?
The process of starting into
Yep.
that. Well, for them it is quite easy, because I'm a teacher, and they can just come and do the seminars.
But I think we all had other ideas and other motivations to come and to do this.
Yeah, so first I want to know your motivation, and then we talk to Hendrik. And
I didn't even have a motivation. All my life long, I can remember that I had this pain inside. There was something missing, and I didn't know what that was, what was missing. But it really hurt me so much. I was missing something. And when I was young, I tried a lot of things. Because, for instance, for a while I believed what the thing I am missing is love by a man. So then I tried that, and I found out that's nice, but it's still missing. A man cannot bring that to me, what there is needed. And when I grow older, about 28, 30, the pain was getting stronger. It was really a strong pain. And finally I found this teacher, this spiritual teacher, and when I sat there in his house, all of a sudden I could feel, wow, that is it. This is the energy I was looking for. But I was smart enough to understand right away it wouldn't be enough for me always to go there and get it from him. I realized I have to learn how to create that myself, create a certain energy. And so then I cling to him and I said to him, teach me everything you know. And I didn't leave him before I had not found it. So that was my motivation. And I didn't intend to become a wise woman. I just intended to grow that much that I can create this energy that seems to be lebensnotwendig.
Necessary to survive.
Necessary to survive, yeah. But by doing that, I became a wise woman, and then I had no work anyway, and so I thought, well, since I can do that, I should get started. So this was the plan above. That was not my plan.
Tell me more about your energy experience you are talking about, because when you say it, people would like to experience it, or understand it, that how it is possible? And
Also every person has his own energy level. And when a person can live on his own level, he feels good. But when the person has to live much lower, it feels very bad for that person. It is a little bit like as if you cannot breathe enough, as if you do not get so much air as you need. And that I lived so low under my normal level had to do with my big ego. Because ego is really a thing that can take your energy away from you. Like, for instance, fear. Fear can take all your power away from you. Or self-doubt. The German female problem can take all your energy away from you. And I was full of that in those times. And I didn't know, I couldn't see at all that it was me who took away the energy. I couldn't see that. I thought it was the world, my parents, the people, everybody. And my teacher, step by step, taught me to see how I did that to myself. I did that, and I did that to me. And so I learned from him to keep my energy with me. Stop believing that everybody is doing things to me. And it ended up in, I had a moment of enlightenment. And in that moment, I suddenly could see it all. I could see my whole life from the day of my birth, and I could see that nobody ever caused me any pain except I myself. There is no Täter. There is no person who is doing things
something to you, yeah.
to you. You're always doing it yourself, and I was always doing it myself, only I didn't know. And I learned to see that. And as if I had knitted pain for myself. And I stopped knitting that day. And then my energy level raised up. And I suddenly could breathe and live. But since then, it had developed much. It has developed a lot. By now, it is so that there is a field of energy around me. It is here in this pavilion tent, and it's all on my place. And the people come here and they sit down, and suddenly they relax and they feel good. It's the energy. They feel it. Many people even say it. Some people are so, they have no spirit to say that, to realize it. But many people can say that. They sit down right there and they say to me, suddenly I have no problems anymore. I came to you because I wanted to talk about my problems, but I can't remember them. This is the energy. And so I do it for them too. I am their teacher, and I help them again and again and again to,
Always the same question.
yeah, to see it is not your mother who did that to you. It is not your husband. You are it's you. But I am a much nicer person than my teacher was. I had to learn it the hard way, and I teach my students the nice way.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
We agree.
Good.
So now my other question was from you that what is, if a new person comes to you, how do you start your process? That what's your first
Oh, yeah,
talk with him? Yeah.
There's a starting point.
Yes, yes, of course.
That's very important for me.
Right.
When we start the first seminar, seminar number 1, and the first thing in the seminar, I put always 2 people together, 2 pairs, and they look each other in the eyes, and then I teach them by making them doing it and talking to them to see all the good things in the other person, to put aside everything that is not good, put aside everything that maybe perhaps is ugly or so, and just see the beauty, see the quality, see the good ability, see the love in the other, see the truth in the other. And I have a very certain way to do it. I receive the power of words. I can do that by words. They sit there and look at each other, and I talk, and the words get powerful, and so suddenly they can feel that. And this is a very important starting point. No criticism anymore. Let's see the good in the other person. Let's see the quality. Let's see, if you even can, that there is God in the other person. That's how we start. And from that point on, step by step, they will have to go all over their inner borders. We are so full of inner borders. I cannot do this. This is impossible. What will the other people say? And we teach them to go over that. And so they... Prüfung?
Challenge?
Yeah, they had to go through quite a lot of challenges.
Challenges. Yeah.
Challenges, yeah. And we start little, and each time the challenge gets bigger.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger, and the challenge to pass through a border and go over that, grow bigger. Stop being so small, grow bigger. Growing bigger means being friendlier, being more full of love, being more full of truth, have more passion. This, I mean, with getting bigger. And let the ego get smaller by that way.
Yeah. You speak such a good English.
Oh, thank
The
you.
English is very good, yeah. Because for me it is the problem here. I am here in Salzwedel from last 4 months now. And I will be here till September. And I think you are speaking the best English.
Oh, thank you. I've stayed a while in the States.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I've met the Native Americans there. And it was very hard to understand them. Very good training.
So, in order to understand this, can you recall some books, some people, some events from your life, your process of understanding, how you expand, how your process of expanding yourself and your energy?
Ereignisse. Yeah, there were some. For instance, I had body problems. I had rheuma. Rheuma, was das denn?
Rheumatic.
Rheumatic problems. And it was a lot of pain in my body, and I had pain every day. It wasn't always on the same part of my body, but there was always pain. And then something happened to me. I was waiting for a friend, and I liked her a lot. She is in my heart. And I was looking forward to the meeting. And then her husband called me, and he said she wouldn't come, and he said it in such a mean way. And he also told me that she is no longer my friend. And then he hung off. And then I was so angry. I was so angry. And we shamans, we believe that it is important to express anger, but not into the face of somebody. Do it alone, but express it. And so I was alone, and I started to express. And at first I just ran through my room, and I said, I am so angry. I am so angry. And after a while, suddenly I was no longer angry. I was sad. So I started to express that for quite a while. And then another feeling came up. I was no longer sad. I was amazed. That's not the right word.
Surprised.
Surprised or fassungslos.
Fascinated, yeah.
What?
Fascinated?
Yeah, when you...
No, she couldn't believe.
I couldn't believe
okay.
what happened to me. And then I tried to express that too for a while. And then finally the last emotion came up in me, and that was disappointment. I was disappointed. And then I realized, aha, that is a real thing. And the other three were just Deckel, put blankets, put
Yeah,
on them,
layers, yeah.
layers, put on that real feeling. And so I expressed that disappointment as good as I could. The whole process took me 4.5 hours. And after that I was really exhausted. But when I woke up the next day, I had no more pain in my body. And I realized that it was the disappointment, old disappointment inside my body that had caused all those pains. So then I started to express all the rest of disappointment that I could find, and then the disease got from my body. And when this happened to me, I could no longer be angry with her. Even though it was not nice what she had done, she had turned away from me by giving me this healing gift. I wouldn't have healed if this had not happened. And so there was no anger inside me. I just thought, thank you. Thank you for giving me that before you left. Yeah, that was an important thing. Yeah, there's another story if you want to know it.
Yep.
Kim, können wir ganz kurz an den Computer, weil
Ja.
wir müssen kurz das Interview checken.
Once we had a seminar here, and in the seminar there was one woman, and she was not so nice, and she kept on criticizing all the others, and criticizing is a thing I really don't like, and she did it on and on and on, and finally I told her, can you just stop that? Be more respectful. Give the other women here a chance. Stop doing what you do. And then she silently got up and left. And later, when we all sat together on a table and we were eating, she turned to me and then she said, Kim, you hurt me so much. And in that moment when she said that, something happened to me. It was so amazing. It was as if the anger of God himself went through me. It was like an orkan, like a big storm, pushing through me so much that I couldn't say any word anymore. I just sat there making noises like and the woman next to me, she could translate what I was trying to say all the time. And she turned to that woman and she said, do you know what? What you are doing here is not right. You know very well that the women are like that. When they believe that you are the victim, they are all behind you. And you try to put them all behind you against Kim. And this is not the truth. You were the aggressor. Kim was only stopping you. And that was such a wonderful truth that she said. And in that moment when she had said that, all of a sudden, all the women suddenly, they said, oh, I understand something now, I understand. As if there were insights raining up on us. Each woman on the table, except the one, had insights about things they had experienced in their life. It was really a holy moment. Absolutely a holy moment where insights were raining on all the people. And again, I had to say, thank you. Thank you. If you had not been so mean, this would not happen.
So actually, there is nothing mean. It might feel at certain point of time that this is mean.
Yeah. And
But-
then it starts moving and it comes something good out of it in the end. And when you reach that end, when you don't stop before it, when you go through it to the end, you always have this thankfulness in your heart. It's
Right.
true. It's not a brain thing. It's a heart thing.
Okay, we take a small break.
Differentiate that you are a shaman for
From being a psychologist or so? Yeah, there's a big difference. The difference is the spirituality and the soul. Psychologists do not work with the soul. They do not even believe in it. They work with the psychic parts of the people. But we work with the soul. The soul, a people's soul, is the place where a person has all his power, all kinds of power, like love and forgiveness and other kinds of strength. It's all in the soul. And when a person feels very bad and nobody likes him and he doesn't like himself too, then he has moved too far away from his soul. And the soul has to feed him with energy, and the way through the ego is so far, and the energy gets dropped off in the ego, and almost nothing reaches him. And when a person feels the opposite, feels very good and strong and likes himself and other persons like himself, this person is close to his soul or even in his soul. And if a person comes to me and has problems, all kinds of life problems, I do not care so much for the problem. Of course, I have to listen to the problem because I have to understand. But while I listen to that person, all the time I look for the power. I try to figure out where's the soul of that person, where's the power of that person. Which moments did he have when he felt very good? And I try to show him the way back to himself, back to his power and his soul. And when a person has reached back home in the soul, the problem is still there, but it's no longer a big problem. You can just push it away from you when you have found back to your power. And this is the thing that psychologists do not do at all. They do the opposite of that. They take all the problems and try to look into them and to dive into them and to solve them all. And this leads to nothing. It leads to a good life to come back to your own soul. And so this, for instance, is one of the differences of what shamans do and psychologists do.
Yeah, because the way the Western countries are moving to the psychologists, that like earlier we had the family doctors, now we have family psychologists.
Yeah.
Well, the psychology has improved a lot through the last years. They step by step overtake shamanism methods into their work. And as much as they do that, they get better. So the days are gone now when a person lies on the sofa of a psychologist for years and nothing happens. They do a lot of good things too by now. But I must admit that the shaman methods are really in the center of it. I can help people very, very quickly. And what also is so helpful is the truth. I mean, the truth I was talking about earlier when I said no more veils in front of your eyes. When you see what it really is. When you see what it really is, you know what to do. And then you can do it. Only I have to persuade the people to follow me that way. But usually they are so desperate when they come. And they say, okay, I do everything. What shall I do? And then we can go together. And this is very helpful. Like, for instance, fear. The phenomenon fear. I discovered what that really is. Fear really is strength. A strength that is misunderstood. Like, for instance, a person feels a big pain and suffers a lot. And from this suffering, the soul of that person responds to that. So if you are the suffering one, your own soul responds to your suffering and puts out something like a drop of energy and sends it to you. And then the energy knocks at your door and people do not understand what is that, what comes there. It feels so strange and and I don't understand what that is. So they close the door. But the energy cannot go back to the soul. It has to stay in front of the door and knock and say, can I come in today? And all the people try to push fear away from them. But they have to put it in. They have to embrace it and let it inside their heart. And there it will transform into power. And not just power, but a power that helps you to solve exactly the problem where you stand at. Because this power has not come by chance. It has come for reason. It has come for the reason to help you with that exact problem. An example. A woman in Salzwedel had anxiety problems. And she didn't tell anybody, not even her husband. She didn't want people to say that she is crazy. And one day she fell down in the shop, she couldn't move half of her side anymore. Lame by fear. And then she went through all the things like psychologists and all that. And finally she came to me. And then we tried to figure out why did this energy come to you? What was the subject? And I asked her, isn't there something that you would really like to do, but you never dared to? And she said, yeah, there are 3 things. One thing is, I would like to buy me a red dress. And I would like to go through Salzwedel. And I would like that it doesn't matter to me at all what other people say. And the second thing, I would like to call my boss and say I'm sick, even though I'm not. And I would like to go in the country and paint a picture. And the third thing, I would like to say no to all the family feasts and parties where we all go and nobody of us wants to be there. And since she had said that, it took her 2 weeks to do it. And after 2 weeks she came back with her red dress. And she had done all that and she felt so much better. And that was the way. She had stayed in a Korsett, weißt du nicht auf Englisch, ne?
Corsage?
Yeah, closet, yeah. Closet.
No.
Inside.
What you put
What
about
you
your...
put here to
Belt.
fix.
Yeah, a too tight belt.
Tight, yeah.
A belt that was much too tight.
Right.
And she has to explode from it. And this power had come to her to help her explode from it. And dare more. Dare to be more. To let herself be seen in red dress. And be wicked. Say I'm sick, and even though she is not. And say no, where she used to say yes all the time. And that was her growing process. And since she had understood that, the anxieties were no problem at all. She could take them all in and grow a bit more. And this was only possible because I understand what fear really is. Fear is not a problem. Fear is a help. Fear is power.
That's great.
I even wrote a book about it,
Oh.
but it's sold out.
So you can print it again.
Yeah, I wanted to have it to be translated once. That would be great.
Now I have a strong feeling that now I stopped reading books almost. I don't read books because there's YouTube keep me occupied all the time. So I strongly feel that all this knowledge has to be transferred on video because the book is the bygone era now. Now I don't feel myself reading a book, rather watching a good video. Mostly documentaries. I watch a lot of documentaries, and the kind of work I'm doing, this is also related to that. That okay, whatsoever I encounter, I meet people, I try to record as much as possible, and then it's on video.
Yeah, I like videos too. I like movies. Really, I'm a big fan of good movies.
Oh, come on, then tell me your 5 favorite films.
Oh yeah.
This is the one question I ask to all my young friends
Yeah.
to start the talk, because almost everybody watches movie, and the kind of movies you appreciate, it tells a lot about you also. So
Okay, one of my favorite is The 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas. Have you seen that?
no,
It's a great movie.
it's a German movie.
Nee,
No.
it's a Hollywood movie.
Okay.
Playing among the Vikings. There is a man from Arabia. He is a man with culture, a poet, writing poetry, had been thrown out of his country, and he comes to the Vikings. And they are wild and strange and dangerous, and they were just starting to get a bit closer and understand each other, when all of a sudden somebody comes and says there's a big problem at home. Something bad happened, so bad, so unbelievable bad that we cannot give it even a name. And all of a sudden they are all full of fear. And then they call the wise woman. There's a wise woman in that movie. And they call this old lady, and she does what wise women did. She took the fur and she threw the runes on it. And she said, 13 people have to go there. And all of a sudden, all those men have strength again. And then she asks, who will be the first one? And they have a wonderful boss. And he said, I will be the first one. And then one calls, I will be the second one, I will be the third one, and they all want to go there. And then suddenly, after 12, silence. Nobody wants to be the 13th one. And then they look at the wise woman. The wise woman looks at the runes, and she says, oh, the 13th warrior cannot be a Viking. It must be a stranger. And then they all look at the Arabian person and said, we have this Arabian person. And then they just took him with them. And so then the journey begins, and they have to fight and live through many things and dangerous situations. And the whole movie is about friendship. And it's also about these Vikings. They always look at the quality. That is so great. I love that. They know the quality of each one among them. And now they have a new one, and that was the first that the boss does. He watches him to find out what is his quality. And then soon he discovered, this man is smart. And then he always takes him with him when he needs a smart person at his side. And that's why I like it much. One, because of the wise woman, of course, but also because of this, they show how people should be together. Look at the quality and relate on that. I love that movie.
Say the name again.
The 13th Warrior.
Okay. The other movie?
Yeah, there are more.
Oh, then I have to write it down. I may
there's
not be
one-
record everything.
One is directed by an Indian director. What was his name? Lady in the Water.
I don't know.
Oh,
Lady in
that
the
is so
Water.
wonderful.
Lady in the Water.
Yeah.
Water? Only water or Lady in the Water?
Lady in the Water.
Indian director.
Yeah.
But it's a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, he's famous. But I forgot his name right now. That is a wonderful movie. There is a house block, many flats in there, and they have a...
Shyamalan.
Ja, so hieß der, glaube ich.
Shyamalan.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay.
How do you call this people who have to take care of all the houses and...
Housekeeper.
Housekeeper, yeah.
And one night the housekeeper, he finds a mermaid in the pool. And then she's very young, and he takes her inside, and step by step he understands what happens. And this man has such a good soul, such a good heart. He is just a helper. He is a sad soul, but a helper, and he cannot do any other thing but helping, and she needs a lot of help. And step by step it comes out that she comes from a wise folks, the people underwater, wise people, and they came to inspire the humans. And she has a job, she has to meet a certain person, and when she looks him in the eyes, then this man gets inspired, even enlightened. And then he will write a book, and this book will be very important for the human beings. And he tries to find that person for her, and then she finds them, and he gets enlightened. But then she cannot go back. Another problem. And step by step they have to take so many people into the game. She needs a lot of people, one for this and one for that and one for that, and they the strangest and funniest people. Like for instance a little group of men who were always smoking marijuana all the time, and they were so stupid. But it turns out that they were needed in that game. And finally, after doing a lot of things, they managed that she can go back to her folks, and they get all completely inspired. And the movie shows everyone is needed. Nobody is too small. Everyone is needed. This is so beautiful.
Okay. The next one.
Fragt mich nach meinem Lieblingsfilm.
Ja,
This is a joke among us. Don't let Kim talk about movies.
Oh, okay. So I started.
There's another very nice, I don't know the word in English, Der Scheinheilige.
Oh, the Pretender?
Yeah, something like The
Pretender.
Pretender.
Okay. That is also a Hollywood movie?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
With, wie heißt der nochmal?
Steve Martin?
Steve Martin. He plays a man who has, they move with big trucks. they have a big tent, and then he is a healer and a preacher. But it's all a lie. He is not a serious man, but he is very good in his job. And then he jumps up and down and he preaches, and then he says, I can heal, come on, I can heal you. And a lot of things happen, but it's all, he is not a real man. He is pretending all the time. But what he is doing it so good. He's a genius in pretending. That's why I like that movie so much. But one day it happens, that a real miracle happens. There is a young boy and he cannot walk, and he goes up and lets his sticks fall, and suddenly he can walk. And that changes everything. It turns out that in the end he cannot do this job any longer. And so he leaves secretly and feels free and happy for the first time. But before all this happens, many things go on in the movie, and I like this that he is so very good. For instance, they go through the country and talk to everybody, and he always finds the right words for everybody. And he's just a criminal, but he is the best in his job. Yeah, I like that movie very much.
It's funny. Funny.
Yeah, it's a funny movie.
Okay.
It's not a serious one, but it's a very good one. And I can learn a lot of things from it. No, that's just kidding.
There's no business like show business.
Yes.
No, he is such a pretender. He has always a trick in his pocket.
Yeah, people, it's in Indian yoga system, they say you can lie. You're free to lie if you are lying to help others.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that.
Not for yourself. It may be sin to lie for yourself only, but you are lying for somebody else, it's okay.
Yeah, it's very bad to lie for yourself.
Yeah,
It stops your development.
yes. But if you can lie for others, it's very good. Not for your own benefit.
Yeah. In the beginning of that movie, the movie begins with a scene. The bus has been driving too fast, and a policeman stops them. And the boss, he is the boss of it all, he says, let me do it. And then he gets some little thing in his ear so that they can hear in the bus what he is talking out there. And then he goes out and he behaves so bad. He's doing all the things that he should not do. And in the bus, they bet on him. Some said, here, $20, he will not make it. Or $20, he will make it. And it turns out that he gets arrested, and he puts him in his car. And then finally he gets starting his work. And he sees there is a violin. And then he says, and he guesses it's all, he's so good. And he guesses that this policeman is divorced. And his wife has taken the child with her, and he has played the violin together with his child. It's all a guess. He guessed it, but he guesses right. He even guesses a name. In the bus, a woman is trying to figure out names in countries so quickly, but he is quicker than before she says Catherine. In his ear, he already had said Kathy, and he was right with that. And then it ends that he gets set free again, and the policeman makes a donation of $20.
Okay. That's fun.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Okay. What else you want to tell? What comes to your mind immediately?
Gar nichts. No, nothing.
Good. We take a break.